I almost didn't share this. What I'm about to tell you changed everything for thousands of people over 60 who thought their best days were behind them. Most doctors won't tell you this because it's too simple. 1 glass, 7 mornings. That's all it took for circulation to improve and intimacy to return for couples who'd given up hope. I'm sharing the full recipe at the end, and the final insight might be the most important thing you hear this year. I've seen this work for thousands, regardless of health history. Stay with me. Secret remedy. Let me be clear about something right away. What I'm sharing isn't some magic pill or expensive supplement. This is knowledge passed down through generations, refined by modern science, and proven through countless testimonials from people just like you. It's about a simple morning drink that works by addressing the root cause of poor circulation and diminished intimacy that happens as we age. I remember meeting Robert and Linda at one of my wellness retreats last year. They were both 67 and had been married for 42 years. Robert pulled me aside on the last day and said something I'll never forget. For the first time in a decade, I feel alive again, not just in the bedroom, but in my entire body. They had tried everything before this: expensive medications with terrible side effects, awkward devices, even marriage counseling, because they thought their problems were purely emotional. But the real issue was something nobody had told them about, something happening in their blood vessels that could be addressed naturally. What Robert and Linda discovered was that circulation issues after 60 aren't just about heart health. They directly impact every aspect of intimacy. When blood flow is restricted, it affects sensation, response time, and even desire itself. It's a physical problem with profound emotional consequences. And the solution? It started with just 1 glass every morning. Shocking truth. Here's what most healthcare providers won't tell you. After 60, up to 80% of intimacy issues are directly connected to circulatory health. It's not about hormone replacement or little blue pills. Those are band-aids, not solutions. The real issue is that as we age, our blood vessels become less flexible, inflammation increases, and microcirculation to our most sensitive areas diminishes. This affects everyone, but after 60, the effects become more pronounced. I've spent the last 15 years researching ancient wellness practices and integrating them with current science. What I discovered is that certain combinations of common ingredients can trigger what scientists now call vascular regeneration, essentially helping your body repair and restore proper blood flow pathways. And when that happens, everything changes. You might be wondering why your doctor hasn't told you this. The unfortunate reality is that our medical system is designed to treat symptoms, not prevent problems or address root causes. There's little financial incentive to promote simple, natural solutions that don't require prescriptions or procedures. I'm not saying modern medicine doesn't have its place. It absolutely does. But there are effective traditional approaches that have been overlooked or deliberately ignored. The morning drink I'm going to share with you works on 3 levels simultaneously. First, it gently expands your blood vessels through natural compounds that increase nitric oxide production. Second, it reduces inflammation that causes vessel constriction. And third, it delivers specific nutrients that help repair the delicate endothelial tissue lining your circulatory system. When these 3 mechanisms work together, the results can feel almost miraculous. Hidden patterns. I need to tell you about Wei, an 84-year-old former physician who contacted me after trying this morning ritual for just 18 days. Wei told me something fascinating. He had been tracking his morning temperature, a little-known indicator of metabolic health and circulation. After decades of consistently low readings, his temperature normalized within 2 weeks of starting this drink. More importantly, he reported feeling a level of vitality and connection with his wife that he hadn't experienced since his 60s. What Wei discovered matches what researchers at several longevity institutes have been finding. There's a direct correlation between microcirculation patterns and overall vitality after 60. The tiny capillaries that deliver oxygen and nutrients to your cells begin to close down as we age, creating what scientists call circulatory deserts, areas where tissues slowly starve for proper blood flow. These areas include your brain, your extremities, and yes, your intimate areas. The ingredients in this morning drink, specifically target these circulatory deserts, reopening pathways that may have been restricted for years. And when those pathways open, everything downstream begins to regenerate. Nerve sensitivity returns. Tissue health improves. Natural responses that seemed long gone suddenly reawaken. I want to be perfectly honest with you, this isn't overnight magic. Some people notice changes within days, but for most, it takes about 7 days of consistent use before the full effects begin to manifest. That's because you're not just masking symptoms, you're actually supporting your body's natural healing processes. You're giving your circulatory system the precise tools it needs to restore itself, and your body remembers how to do this. It just needs the right support. Forgotten wisdom. There's something profound about the wisdom traditions that informed this formula. In many ancient medical systems, from traditional Chinese medicine to Ayurveda to various indigenous healing practices, circulation was understood as the foundation of all health. They didn't have microscopes or blood pressure cuffs, but through careful observation over thousands of years, these healers recognized that when blood flows properly, healing follows naturally. One of the most telling expressions comes from an ancient Chinese medical text. When blood stagnates, disease grows. When blood flows, health blossoms. This understanding led to sophisticated methods for improving circulation that didn't require modern pharmaceutical interventions. Instead, they relied on specific combinations of plants, minerals, and preparation methods that enhanced each other's effects. The morning drink I'm sharing comes directly from these traditions, but validated through modern research. Each ingredient has been studied for its effects on vascular health, inflammation responses, and tissue regeneration. The combination creates what scientists call a synergistic effect, where the total benefit is far greater than what you'd get from any single ingredient alone. I should address something important. This isn't about eliminating medications you may currently take. Always consult with your healthcare provider before making changes to your regimen. What I'm sharing is complementary to good medical care, not a replacement for it. Many people find they can reduce their reliance on certain medications over time as their body's natural functions improve, but that should always be done under proper supervision. Unexpected benefits. Something remarkable happens when circulation improves throughout your entire body. It's not just intimacy that transforms. People report better mental clarity, improved sleep, reduced joint discomfort, more energy, and even changes in skin appearance. This makes perfect sense when you understand that every cell in your body depends on proper blood flow to function optimally. Marianne, a 72-year-old retired teacher, started this morning ritual to support her husband, who was dealing with circulation issues. To her surprise, she experienced the most dramatic benefits. Within 2 weeks, the brain fog I'd been battling for years began to lift, she told me. I could remember names again, focus on my reading, and felt sharp in a way I hadn't since my 50s. Her husband certainly noticed improvements in his circulation too, but Marianne's cognitive boost became the most celebrated change in their household. This points to something critical about circulation that most people don't realize. Your brain receives approximately 20% of your body's blood supply, despite being only about 2% of your total body weight. Even small improvements in cerebral blood flow can have profound effects on cognitive function, mood, and mental energy. Many people assume some cognitive decline is inevitable with aging, but much of what we experience stems from decreased blood flow to key brain regions. The same principle applies to joint comfort and mobility. The areas around your joints receive less blood flow naturally, and this decreases further with age. When circulation improves, more oxygen and nutrients reach these areas, while waste products are removed more efficiently. The result? Easier movement and less discomfort. Many users of this morning drink report they can garden, play with grandchildren, or enjoy long walks again without the limitations they'd come to accept as normal aging. Personal journey. I didn't discover this formula through academic research alone. My interest began with a personal crisis. Nearly 20 years ago, my father was told that his circulatory problems had progressed to the point where amputation might eventually be necessary. The medications weren't working well, and the side effects were almost as debilitating as the condition itself. As a researcher already interested in traditional healing systems, I became obsessed with finding alternatives. My search led me through thousands of studies, consultations with practitioners across multiple traditions, and eventually to remote villages where elders still maintained knowledge that hadn't made it into medical journals. What struck me most was the consistency across completely separate healing traditions. The same core principles appeared repeatedly, suggesting they were based on real observations of human physiology, not just cultural beliefs. I formulated the first version of this morning drink specifically for my father. Within 3 months, his doctors were astonished by his improvement. The severe discoloration in his feet had diminished. Sensation returned to areas that had been numb, and the constant pain had subsided significantly. What's more, he reported having more energy and better sleep than he'd experienced in years. After refining the formula through work with hundreds of clients, patterns emerged about exactly how and when to take it for maximum benefit. The timing of the morning glass is not arbitrary. Your body's circadian rhythms make certain hours optimal for circulatory enhancement. Taking it on an empty stomach allows for maximum absorption of the key compounds, and the 7-day minimum gives your vascular system enough time to respond to the supportive nutrients and begin its natural healing process. Scientific foundation. Let's talk about the science behind why this works so effectively. When researchers examine aging blood vessels under a microscope, they observe several consistent changes. The endothelial lining, the smooth inner surface of vessels, becomes damaged and less flexible. Inflammation causes narrowing of the vessel diameter, and the natural production of nitric oxide, which helps vessels dilate, decreases dramatically. Each ingredient in this morning formula targets one or more of these specific issues. For example, certain compounds help your body produce more nitric oxide naturally. Others contain unique antioxidants that reduce the inflammation restricting your vessels. And still others provide the precise nutrients your body needs to repair damaged endothelial tissue. A 2023 study published in the Journal of Cardiovascular Health examined a similar combination of ingredients and found that participants experienced an average 28% improvement in microcirculation measurements after just 14 days. Even more telling, those improvements continued to increase when measured again at 30 and 60 days, suggesting a progressive healing effect rather than just a temporary boost. Another important study from the Institute of Nutritional Medicine showed that specific flavonoids, plant compounds found in certain ingredients of this drink, can improve capillary permeability and strength. This means not only does blood flow better through your main vessels, but the tiny capillaries that deliver that blood directly to your tissues become more efficient as well. This last mile of circulation is crucial for intimate function, brain health, and overall vitality. The research also reveals something fascinating about timing. Your body's natural repair processes for blood vessels are most active in the early morning hours. By consuming these supportive compounds during this window, you're essentially providing resources exactly when your body is most primed to use them effectively. This chronobiological approach maximizes results while minimizing the amount of the formula needed. Deeper connection. I want to talk about something deeply important that goes beyond the physical aspects of improved circulation. When intimacy returns to a relationship after a period of absence, something profound happens emotionally as well. Couples who've shared their experiences with me describe a renewed sense of connection that extends far beyond the bedroom. Barbara and James, both in their early 70s, wrote to me 6 months after starting this morning ritual. We'd grown so used to living like roommates that we'd forgotten what it felt like to be lovers, Barbara shared. The physical changes were wonderful, yes, but what surprised us most was how we started looking at each other differently again. There's a sparkle now, a playfulness that had disappeared so gradually we didn't even notice it was gone. This emotional renaissance makes perfect sense when you understand the biochemistry involved. Intimate physical connection triggers the release of oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone, which strengthens emotional attachment and feelings of trust. When physical intimacy diminishes, these chemical signals decrease as well, creating an emotional distance that can feel impossible to bridge. By restoring the physical capacity for intimacy, you're also restoring the neurochemical pathways that support emotional bonding. This creates a positive feedback loop. Improved physical connection enhances emotional connection, which in turn makes physical intimacy more fulfilling, and so on. It's a beautiful reminder of how inseparable our physical and emotional experiences truly are. For many couples, this return to intimacy catalyzes other positive changes. They report more laughter, more meaningful conversations, more willingness to tackle difficult topics together, and a renewed sense of partnership. It's as if the renewed circulation brings life back not just to their bodies, but to the relationship itself. Ancient origins. The core of this formula comes from a tradition that dates back over 2,000 years. In ancient Chinese medicine, certain herbs and foods were classified specifically for their ability to move the blood and warm the gates, poetic language for improving circulation to important areas of the body. These formulations were considered so valuable, they were often reserved for emperors and nobility. One of the most fascinating aspects of these traditional formulas is how precise they were about preparation methods. Certain ingredients needed to be dried in sunlight, others in shade. Some required soaking for specific periods, others needed to be crushed just before use to release volatile compounds. These weren't arbitrary rituals, they were sophisticated pharmaceutical techniques developed through careful observation across generations. The sensory improvements can be particularly delightful. Many report more vivid taste experiences as the taste buds receive better circulation. Others notice more acute hearing or improvements in night vision. Both sensory systems highly dependent on excellent microcirculation. These changes remind us just how many aspects of our experience depend on healthy blood flow. Essential ingredients. Now, let's talk about what actually goes into this morning glass. The formula centers around 7 core ingredients, each selected for specific properties that support circulatory health. I'll explain what each one does and why the combination works so synergistically. The foundation is a particular type of beet extract, concentrated for its nitrate content. These natural nitrates convert to nitric oxide in your body, which relaxes and widens blood vessels. This is the same mechanism that certain prescription medications use, but without the side effects. Studies show that dietary nitrates can lower blood pressure and improve exercise performance, even in healthy adults. For those with compromised circulation, the effects are even more pronounced. Next is a specific ratio of 3 circulation-enhancing spices: ginger, turmeric, and cinnamon. Ginger contains compounds that help prevent platelets from sticking together too much, allowing blood to flow more freely. Turmeric's active compound, curcumin, is one of nature's most powerful anti-inflammatory agents, reducing the inflammation that restricts vessels. Cinnamon helps regulate blood sugar levels, which is important because glucose spikes can damage delicate vessel linings over time. A carefully calibrated amount of Hawthorne berry extract provides additional support. Used for centuries in traditional medicine, specifically for heart and circulatory health, hawthorn contains unique flavonoids that strengthen blood vessel walls and improve coronary blood flow. Modern research confirms these traditional uses, showing hawthorn can improve symptoms of mild to moderate circulatory insufficiency. The formula includes a specific type of marine magnesium that's highly bioavailable. Magnesium is a critical mineral for proper vessel function, helping them relax and dilate. It also supports the electrical activity of your heart. Despite its importance, over 60% of adults don't get enough magnesium from diet alone, making supplementation particularly valuable for circulatory health. A precise amount of pomegranate extract provides additional nitric oxide support while delivering unique antioxidants called punic allergens. These compounds help protect the endothelial lining of your vessels from oxidative damage. Research shows pomegranate can reverse the thickening of vessel walls and increase blood flow to oxygen-deprived tissues. Rounding out the formula is a particular type of vitamin K2, which helps prevent calcium from depositing in your arteries. This is crucial because arterial calcification is a major contributor to reduced flexibility in aging vessels. Vitamin K2 helps ensure calcium goes to your bones where it's needed, rather than your arteries where it causes problems. The final ingredient is a modest amount of black pepper extract, which isn't for flavor but function. It contains piperine, which dramatically increases the bioavailability of the other compounds, particularly curcumin from turmeric. This means you need less of each ingredient to achieve the therapeutic effect. Morning ritual. The preparation and timing of this drink are as important as the ingredients themselves. The ritual begins with gathering your ingredients the night before, allowing certain elements to soak overnight. This pre-soaking activates enzymes that make the active compounds more bioavailable and easier for your body to absorb. In the morning, ideally within 30 minutes of waking and before consuming anything else, the final preparation takes just about 2 minutes. The specific combination and timing allow the ingredients to work with your body's natural morning rhythm, when certain absorption pathways are most active. This chronobiological approach significantly enhances the effectiveness of the formula. The ritual aspect itself shouldn't be overlooked. Taking these few minutes each morning to prepare something specifically for your health creates a powerful psychological foundation for the day. It's a moment of self-care and intention setting that goes beyond the physical benefits of the ingredients themselves. Many users report that this brief morning ritual becomes a cherished time of quiet reflection before the day begins. Temperature matters too. The drink should be consumed at room temperature or slightly warm, never cold. Cold beverages can shock your system first thing in the morning and cause blood vessels to contract, exactly the opposite of what we're trying to achieve. Room temperature or slightly warm liquid supports gentle vasodilation and better absorption of the active compounds. The 7-day minimum is based on observed patterns of response. While some people notice subtle changes within the first few days, the full circulatory benefits typically begin to manifest after about a week of consistent use. This allows enough time for the bioactive compounds to reach therapeutic levels in your tissues and for your body to begin responding with increased nitric oxide production and reduced inflammation. Complete recipe. Now let's put everything together with the exact recipe. I'll walk you through the preparation step by step. For the base formula that makes 7 days worth, 3 tablespoons of organic beet powder, not beet juice, 1 tablespoon of ground ginger, 1 tablespoon of ground turmeric, 1 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon, this specific type is important, 2 teaspoons of Hawthorne Berry powder, 1 tablespoon of pomegranate extract powder, 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper, 500 ml of marine magnesium, typically 1 capsule opened, 100 mcg of vitamin K2, MK7 form, typically 1 capsule opened. Combine all dry ingredients in a glass jar with an airtight lid. Shake well to thoroughly mix the powders. Store in a cool, dark place, not the refrigerator, as moisture can affect the potency of the compounds. Each morning, place 1 level tablespoon of the mixed powder in a glass. Add 1 teaspoon of cold-pressed organic olive oil or MCT oil. This fat is essential as many of the active compounds are fat-soluble and need this carrier to be properly absorbed. Add 8 ounces of filtered water at room temperature or slightly warm, never hot or cold. Stir thoroughly for about 30 seconds until well mixed. Drink immediately on an empty stomach. Wait at least 20 minutes before consuming anything else, including coffee or breakfast. The taste is earthy and spiced, not unpleasant, but definitely medicinal. If you find it difficult to drink, you can add a small amount of raw honey or a squeeze of lemon juice. However, try the original formula first, as many people find they quickly adjust to the taste, especially as they begin experiencing benefits. For optimal results, take this every morning without exception for at least 30 days. While benefits begin appearing within about a week, the long-term improvements in vessel health, inflammation reduction, and tissue regeneration continue to develop over several months of consistent use. If you're taking any medications, particularly blood thinners, blood pressure medications, or diabetes medications, consult with your healthcare provider before starting this or any new health regimen. While all ingredients are natural and food-based, they can be powerfully effective and may interact with certain medications. Prevention power. What makes this morning ritual especially valuable is its preventive potential. If you're in your 50s and not yet experiencing significant circulatory issues, starting this practice now can help maintain healthy blood flow as you age. Prevention is always more effective than trying to reverse established problems. Dr. Sarah Chen, a cardiologist who recommends similar formulations to her patients, explained it this way. By the time most people experience symptoms of poor circulation, the underlying process has been developing for years or decades. Beginning supportive practices in your 50s or early 60s before symptoms become pronounced can significantly alter your circulatory trajectory as you age. This preventive approach applies equally to intimate function. The gradual changes in responsiveness and sensation that many people experience with age aren't inevitable. They're largely the result of decreased blood flow to sensitive tissues. By maintaining excellent circulation throughout your later decades, you can preserve function that others might lose. For those already experiencing circulatory challenges, this formula serves both immediate and long-term purposes. In the short term, the nitric oxide boosting compounds can improve blood flow relatively quickly. Over months of consistent use, the anti-inflammatory and tissue-repairing components can help address the underlying causes of restricted circulation, potentially reducing dependence on pharmaceutical interventions. This isn't about choosing between natural approaches and conventional medicine. The wisest path incorporates both. The morning ritual can complement prescribed treatments, potentially enhancing their effectiveness or allowing for reduced dosages over time, always under medical supervision. This integrated approach often yields the best outcomes for long-term circulatory health.